First off, welcome. Goddamn it, welcome. Where you at? You ready?
This is the Bernie's Daughter Podcast.
I ain't scared of you, motherfucker.
The show where you get a front row seat to the magic,
Where you at?
humor, and wisdom of the late, great Bernie Mac, as seen through the eyes of his loving daughter.
I don't care about you talking about me.
And his famous friends.
Welcome to today's episode of the Bernie's Daughter Podcast. I am your host, Janice McCullough, but y'all mostly know me as Bernie's daughter, because y'all know that's what you call me. My guest today has been a hilarious stand-up comedian for over 30 years. And in addition to that stand-up comedy career, he's an author, actor, television, and award-winning radio personality. He's currently on tour coming to a city near you, and you can catch him Monday through Saturday on his nationally syndicated morning show, The Rickey Smiley Morning Show. Please welcome today's guest, the one and only Rickey Smiley.
Thank you so much. And first of all, let me say rest in peace to your dad, and thank you for having me on the show. It's such an honor to still somehow be connected to him now through you. I knew your dad. He was great. A few shows I opened up for the Kings of Comedy. He was always so nice to me. And I promise you, I got a videotape that he made for me that I have on VHS. I got to find it and then find a way to transfer it. But man, he was so nice and awesome and funny and an inspiration. And I met him in 92 when I was in New York taping HBO's Def Comedy Jam.
Awesome. I was going to ask you, what was your first meeting like?
Oh man, first of all, I couldn't believe that I met him. That was after I Ain't Scared of You mug kind of aired. So he was at the next taping, and I'm like, man, there's Bernie Mac. And it was a pleasure to meet him. Then the Def Jam tour came to Birmingham to the Alabama Theater. I had a chance to meet him again. That's where I also met Bill Bellamy for the first time. So, yeah, it was exciting to meet him and to know him. Absolutely. I'm just glad I came from that era, you know, that I had an opportunity to meet some of the greats before they, passed away.
Yes. Yeah. I'm so glad that you said you opened up for the Kings of Comedy, because I really don't think people realize that you did that. Like,
yeah. Yeah. It was a few cities that Guy Torrey didn't do. And sometimes they would use me. And I just even remember like small details of like walking through Atlanta airport with Bernie. It was me, Bernie Mac, and what's the guy, the light-skinned guy that promoted, the producer? Walker Latham. All of us walking through the airport and sitting there getting something to eat in Atlanta airport. And just like, I'm sitting at the table, like, I can't believe I'm sitting here with Bernie Mac, because we was on the same flight. And that was crazy. That was crazy to me. He was really, really nice. Was like a uncle / big brother. Treated me nice, and man, that I will, have that for the rest of my life.
I love it. So you mentioned the Def Jam. I ain't scared of you. We can't talk about my dad without talking about that. Like, I always like to get other comedians' viewpoint. When you saw that performance, what went through your mind? What did you think and feel when you saw that?
Yeah, how do you go on Def Jam and have a good set? Because that was the standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when Bernie Mac did that, you knew that you had to go on Def Jam and give your best and come with it. Of course, I did not have the experience that he had, because I used to hear about, him doing the Cotton Club up in Chicago. Yeah. I hear all the Bernie Mac stories, like George Wilborn, all those guys from the Chi. Different comedians from New York, they would always tell me how they would always go to the Kind Club. And if you didn't get there by 4:00, you couldn't get in. I live in Birmingham, Alabama, and I've heard all of those Chicago stories about the Kind Club and your dad. So you already knew that you was dealing with a legend and a legacy, but you just knew that you had to come with it. You had to come with your best because that really set the standard. As a matter of fact, that probably was the greatest performance in Def Comedy Jam history.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta agree. And of course I'm not biased at all, but
Yeah.
I was talking with Cedric the Entertainer last week, and he said that my dad is a comics comic, which I had never thought of that before. He said my dad was that comedian where all the other comedians, like, you stop and you would go, to the side of the stage to see what he had to say.
Your dad had me up night before I even knew I was doing this interview, because somebody posted a clip about that joke he closed with about somebody owed him some money. He kept putting them in. Man, I was in the bed laughing so hard I couldn't go back to sleep, because I needed to sleep out another hour and a half before I get up to do the morning show. Man, that joke had wiped me out, because I remember him doing it a long time ago, but people are now posting clips. And man, that stuff was funny. Yeah, he's a comics comic because you had to watch his performance. Absolutely. I don't know what Sid talking about, because Sid was a comics comic also. We watched that damn set. So right, what? Sid, what you talking about? You had to watch your set too, because you came on right before Bernie. And then I'm up there performing while people still walking in and trying to find their seats. That's the truth.
Oh man.
But he's always like, hey, keep doing what you're doing. Whatever. If you need me, just ask me, just call me. Whatever you need, I got you. Just keep doing what you're doing, young man. You're doing good.
Yeah, that was him. Yes. Like you said, like it's because I see it too. Like clips of him are everywhere. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. He trends like every so often. What do you think it is about his comedy that 15 years after he passed away, people are still, just enthralled with him?
First of all, it seems like it's been less than a year, because you're sitting up here, like when you said 15 years, I'm like 15 years.
15 is crazy.
It seems like he just passed away, because his comedy is so alive and well.
Mm-hmm.
It's so alive and well and so relevant, and people are still sharing it as if he did this stuff last year.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, I mean, what was the question again?
Well, what do you think it is about? Like we said, it's been 15 years. So what do you think it is about his comedy that makes it still so relevant?
Nothing like it. Nothing like it. So more, nothing. Nothing like it. His style was just totally different. And everybody can relate to somebody like him. Everybody had a uncle or a neighbor or somebody in their community that just kind of had the same energy your dad had. That's why everybody loved him. They loved him because they could relate to him.
Yeah. I always tell people, I don't think he ever met a stranger, because everybody always felt like they knew him. Like you said, uncle, cousin, everybody felt like, I know you. I know this guy. Yeah.
He was very nice.
Yeah.
Even in his prime, he would always make time for people, make time for fans, make time for the comedians, sit down, give you advice if you ask for it, hug you, embrace you, love on you. It was one of that was his reputation on the circuit as well. I never heard a comic, and you hear stories, but I never heard a comic say that Bernie was nice. He was very nice, kind, thoughtful, and loving and giving. That's a fact. And anything, and I never asked for anything, but he was very clear. If you need anything, I'm here for you. Just call me.
And he meant that. Like, you could have.
No, he did.
Yeah, you could have absolutely called. You would have.
Yeah, people, when somebody say that and they from Chicago, you already know it's real.
Yeah. Yeah. Chicago, we don't play about that.
Exactly.
It's not empty words.
Yeah, but it was just a pleasure to pleasure to know him, and a pleasure to be doing the same thing. I wish I would have been able to meet Robin Harris, and there are others that I did not get a chance to meet. or whatever, singers and comedians. But the fact that I can tell my grandkids that I met Bernie Mac, that king of the comedy is probably going to be around until the end of time. People are going to always be able to laugh and relate to that. That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. So we talked about Def Jam. We talked about Kings of Comedy. What do you think was my dad's most significant, like when you look at his entire body of work, what do you think was his most significant contribution to comedy and entertainment?
Oh, the sitcom, because he was like the more on the edge Bill Cosby. It was like the Cosby Show. That sitcom was well lit. That sitcom was funny. That little boy with those glasses and that girl, and the fact that he took a story from his stand-up talking about the nieces and the nephews and built a sitcom around it. That within itself is like, that's why his stand-up was so awesome, because he was able to take stuff from his stand-up and build an entire TV show around it, which was a hit, by the way.
Yeah.
Which was funny. And just that show was everything. That show was funny. Him commentating, made the show even funnier. I absolutely love that show.
Yeah, that was my daughter's favorite, because that's the only thing I could show her for years.
yeah. That show, and him getting that show, I don't know who he got with. That's one of the best sitcoms of all time. And even though you see more now clips of Sanford and Son and Martin, I promise you this: within the next 15 years, that sitcom is gonna catch on fire again, and you're gonna start just like his comedy clips are going viral.
Yeah.
Wait till people start getting to that sitcom. They not really showing a lot of it now because they just hadn't got around to it, because you can't stop watching his stand up. But when you start getting clips from the sitcom and how clever he was and the writers was on that, man, that thing is going to be, you got a lot of content that's going to be around for years and years and years that your dad left.
Yeah, I agree. It's that the sitcom is one of my favorite things that he's done. And that's one of the things I know he was most proud of.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to get into you and your career for a little bit before you leave us. So for you, like, because we always hear about comedians, knowing like from a young age they wanted to be a comedian. Is that how it happened for you?
Nah, I started out as a musician.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I wanted to play the piano and the organ and the baritone and the trumpet. And so I still have my trumpet. I got it. Wait, let me see.
Okay.
I think I got it. I still play. I still, music was my first love, but I was just always silly and funny. And so I still kind of play around with my instrument. I got a little trumpet, but it's a smaller version of it. I still, yeah. I marched HBCU. I marched.
With the trumpet, Rickey Smiley. Oh,
yeah. You got to listen. You got to always. I took enough applied trumpet lessons in college, and man, I did enough. So you just don't put your horn down. And I was still at least every other day sit to my piano and play a song or some song. So I still play organ. I can still play at church.
Oh, I love it.
And I'm talking about not just by ear. I read music.
Okay.
Yeah, a quarter note, a half note, a rasp, crescendo, 1 and 2, and all that.
Yes, I love it. Yes.
Yeah.
So how did you go from I want to be a musician to no, I'm gonna be a comedian?
I was good at roasting and stuff. Somebody took me to a comedy club one night. I was like, "You got paid what?" I'm like, man, I can do that. I went up there and did it one time. I had a couple of jokes. I was okay. But man, I got the hang of it after about the third open mic night. After that, it was history. I was like, okay, I can do this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We are. And you can. Yes, you can. You look
It was just a little bit.
just a little bit.
But yeah, being in the Shy, the opportunities, the Science Industrial Museum, that was one of my first big shows in the Shy. And then, I used to come to All Jokes Aside back in the day with George Wilborn. That's 1,000 Wabash.
Yes. So get back with all the
go to Uncle Remus and get you some chicken. And then the next day, go to Giordano's and some Garrett's popcorn. I would always stay at the W Hotel right there on Lakeshore. That's why.
Okay.
Where I stayed. But I used to do the Regal Theater and then the Chicago Theater. I did that with Maze one time. And I would always perform at the Erie Crown. So you got to.
Oh, yeah.
The Shy. That's why all the black shows would be at the Erie Crown.
Right. Yep. You know it. You know it.
So the thing about the Shy, you better be funny. Well, but one thing about it ain't pressure like Detroit. Detroit, you better be funny. Chicago just glad to have you. They gonna laugh and show love. Because that is a comedy town, thanks to people like your dad that condition people to come to laugh. There are some places you go, you got to prove that you funny, but the Shy is like, come on with me, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm just still going at age of 55, still at it.
Yes, you are. And doing, like I said, you're doing a great job at it. We appreciate it because you all, comedians to me y'all are healers because y'all bring, you all do things where you help us to laugh through our own pain, through our own stuff. You help us to not take life so seriously. And a lot of times I'm not sure that people realize what a gift that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even through your own pain, bills don't stop coming. You have to make people laugh. My job every morning, you know what I'm saying, is important. And I have a whole syndicated radio show, and this year has been definitely challenging for me. But I had to get it in. I had to think about other people. It's one of those things where you almost can't take our work because your job is Monday through Friday and the weekend. The weekend, the stand-up comedy has now become the second job. The first job is radio for me. So, it's a big responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go back just a second, because we talk all the time about Def Jam. Like when people talk about, the history, especially in Black comedy, we talk about Def Jam. A lot of people don't talk about Comic View enough for me. So how did it come about for you to become a host on Comic View?
I think I went on there in 97, did Little Daryl, and then after that, I did that, that character, and then the Bernie Jenkins character, then the coach character with the shoe. Then I started working for BET, and then it was like, you need to do a special. So I did the special, and I think by the time 2000 came around, it was like, we're going to make you the host. And I became the host, and I was on TV Monday through Friday, every single night. And then I hosted it again in 2004. And that was a lot of fun. So, but yeah, Def Jam was a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not Def Jam, Comic View. Comic View. And then they had moved it to Atlanta at the time in 2000. So, you doing comedy from the ATL. That was a whole lot of fun. That was a great opportunity. That was a great time and a great era.
Yeah.
That was my opportunity to shine. And I was selling out everywhere back then. My ticket sales are still good to this day. And I think radio helps with that. But it's thank God for BET, Comic View, and HBO. Def Comedy Jam, Uptown Comedy Club, Showtime at the Apollo.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of opportunities for Black comics.
Yes, it was. And that's also an era where and my dad and a lot said, we can go back to all those comments where you all were really like on a hustle and grind to, the superstardom that you all have reached. And for me, I feel like a lot of people don't realize not only the hustle and grind that was required to get to where you are now, but the hustle and grind that's required to stay where you are. Like, yeah. Because they say the grind don't stop; it keeps going. So, what has that been like for you? Like, is there a difference in, like the hustle before you've gotten to this point?
Yeah, because like a lot of comics blew up on social media. We didn't have social media. We had to get in the clubs and learn how to perform, learn how to build our fan base. We just didn't have the luxury of social media. Just imagine if I had social media and I'm on national TV on BET, #1 rated show Monday through Friday. I'd probably have about as many followers as Kevin Hart have now. He like the man, on social media. But we had to get in there and grind. And then when social media did come out, for guys my age or whatever, we had to learn how to operate social media and apply it to the business that we're in, and make it happen. So it's a good balance. I come from the old school. We had to learn how to perform, but now I know how to operate social media and promote my social media through my radio platform. And you just have to make every entity work for each other.
Yeah. Yeah. When did you know like that you had arrived? Because I always tell people, like with my dad, it was like these stair step moments that would happen, that it was like, oh my gosh, this is the biggest thing that's happened. Then something else, and it's like, oh my God, this is the biggest thing that happened. And then you just have to look around like, you somebody now. Okay.
Yeah.
What was that moment for you when you realized that?
Yeah, I did that little Daryl character. And that wiped out the United States. Everybody that had a line on campus that had pledges, that was pledging anything Greek, had somebody online named Lil Daryl.
I still be like, leave me alone.
Yeah. And Said wrote that joke.
Yeah.
He did it. Said help me put that together. I always give him credit for that. I had the idea, but Said helped me put it together. But yeah, that one character right there. And then when I started hosting Comic View, after that, I started doing stuff with Q, Friday After Next.
Yes.
All About the Benjamins. I've done a few little movies and appearances in different TV shows. I had my own little sitcom on TV One for 2 seasons, 6 seasons of a reality show. So, I had a great run. It's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. It's been fun to watch. Trust me, as somebody who gets to, consume what you put out, it's been great to watch. So yeah. I just want to take it just a little bit of time that we have you personal. You're a grandfather, and I just want to know, what is that like? Because I am convinced that becoming a grandparent must be one of life's greatest joys. Because I know watching my father become a grandfather had me looking at him like, I'm sorry, where's Bernard Jeffrey? Because this ain't you. Like, are you that grandfather? Like, are you that type of grandparent that it's just like, forget the kids, it's my grandbabies?
Yeah, man. These days, I told the promoter, yeah, we're going to go on a tour. I was like, man, if you could just put me at the swing set with pushing my granddaughters on the swing. I said, man, I don't care about going on the road and all that stuff. Once you did shows and made money or whatever, I literally take the entire summer off. I don't perform anywhere on the weekends in the summer. I spend my weekends with my grandkids, taking them boating, taking them to the beach. I got a little boat that I take them out on and stuff, put them on life jackets. We feed the sharks and feed marine life. Like, I'm really, really, really in tune with my grandkids, my granddaughters. My young granddaughter, she's 9 months walking already. Denver, and then I have a grandson named Grayson. And then I have another granddaughter, Storm. So I absolutely love my grandkids. I don't play. My oldest grandson, who's 7, is playing running back for his little league football team, the Mountaineer, the Irondale Mountaineers. So, I'm happy to be on the parent squad, have my little stuff on. You should have saw me running down the sideline last Saturday. I ran down the sideline on the football field trying to record my grandson because he took one to the house, broke up 90 yards to the house. Leon, if you're out there, prime time, if you're out there, you need to have your eyes on my grandson. You see how we get about our grandkids. You see how we get? Nothing created excitement until you mention those grandkids. All of a sudden, my chest out, and I'm doing all this.
Yes, you all lose your mind. Like for me, I always, one of my favorite memories of my dad is when he was holding my daughter on the couch. She was a newborn, and he just started bawling. And I had never, I've seen my dad cry maybe 2 or 3 times in my life. And I'm thinking something's wrong with him. And he was just like, no, like he was so happy. And he was like, I never thought life could be this good.
Oh, yeah.
Just like, what?
Yeah, you think you love your kids. Them grandkids churn up some feeling that you didn't know that was inside of you. Yeah. Yeah. It's serious. That whole little pop-up thing or whatever, is something special. It's something, and then, I hope that I am to my grandkids that my grandparents was to me, because I'm a grandmama's kid.
Yeah.
I'm a grandparent's baby, like for real, inside and out. And I hope that if I have half the impact on my grandson that my grandfather had on me, my grandson is going to have a great life.
Oh, you will, and he will. Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, I can see it. You can feel the love. It's palpable. And how is your daughter? Because I know, a few years ago, she was shy. Like, how is she?
Yes, my daughter's doing good. My daughter has graduated from Belleville University.
Awesome.
Member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Hey.
And she lives in Dallas, Texas, and she is a speech pathologist.
Awesome.
Yes, so she's doing great.
Love to
Thank you for asking.
No, I had to ask. I remember when that happened. I can't not go. We can ask. We can talk about everything else. I can definitely check in and make sure that you're good with that. So listen, I know you've got to go, but I always like to end every episode on the note that we began, since it is the Bernie's Daughter podcast. So when you think of Bernie Mac and his legacy, what do you think that his legacy will be for this next generation who are coming in, getting to know him?
Man, just knowing how to command the stage, knowing how to perform, knowing how to do a funny ass sitcom. That you couldn't have wrote that script for him. He was the sitcom. Even though you had kids on there, he had a cast that was funny as well. At the end of the day, you're looking at that show because it's the Bernie Mac show. Because you just love Bernie Mac. Period, point blank. If you want to have an example on how to perform and how to do stuff, man, that is a Bernie Mac is a time capsule. Nothing, you can't duplicate it. It ain't nothing close to it, man. His style and the way he did it, and then he represent that Chi-Town or whatever. And I'm sure, Bernie Mac would make you want to be from Chicago, man, because you're so proud of that. I just can't imagine growing up in the 90s and doing comedy and getting a chance to go to the comedy club and watch and work out with Bernie Mac. You know what I'm saying? George Wilborn told me a lot of those stories. And Damon Williams and some of the great comics that came out of the Chi. Dion Cole, Kenny Howard, Tony Schofield, Leon. All of the cooks that showed me love that came out of the shot. They have great stories about the legendary and history of Bernie Mac.
Yeah, absolutely. And there you have it, folks. It's another episode of the Bernie's Daughter podcast in the bag. My thanks to the always wonderful Rickey Smiley. You can catch him Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. and also Saturday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on his syndicated show, The Rickey Smiley Morning Show. For more information on his tour dates and just to know more about Rickey, you can go to www.rickysmiley.com. I am your host, Janice McCullough, but again, y'all know me as Bernie's daughter, because that's what y'all call me. Like my daddy told me before, y'all, I ain't scared of you, mother. Legend. Y'all know the rest. And until next time, who you with?